Now, as you guys well know, I'm a big fan of Apple, right? And one of those reasons is because Apple takes a lot of time, a lot of effort into designing really beautiful products. Now, it would be kind of stupid to say that Apple doesn't produce beautiful products, right? Because that's what has set them apart ever since forever. Now, there are some things though that even though they're beautiful, may not work as well as you would think, right? And the only reason for that is there's actually a comparison. And today, I'm actually going to compare the mouse that Apple provides, the Magic Mouse, and the MX Master 3. Before we go any further, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be informed when there's new videos just like this that we put out every so often. Now, the Apple Magic Mouse, right? It came together with my 27-inch iMac that we got in 2013. It's 2020 now, that's 7 years ago. So this is the first generation, right? The one that you have got to actually pop in batteries with. At the time, yeah, that was great. Now you don't have to do that anymore with the Magic Mouse 2. But this mouse actually has a lot of core functionalities in it. Now, you can do swipes with it. You can actually swipe through different pages on a tab. You can swipe against many different pages, full app pages that you've activated in. But the one thing that it lacks though is that Apple has this thing whereby it loves sleek profiles. And in this case, it doesn't actually work because when we put this in comparison, look at that profile, right? This is what happens when a company is based squarely on I/O. Look at the difference in profile like that. Now, when I'm using the Logitech MX Master 3, it cups my hand like so. And it's actually quite a good feel. I mean, I've been using the Magic Mouse forever, and I've actually gotten used to actually this kind of dual click thing, and sometimes I get a neck ache over here because that's my whole life, right? But when I've switched to this mouse, I've got to say that it is really conforming to where my hand is actually going to be resting on the mouse on the desktop, and it makes for a really nice smooth feel, and I kind of really like it a lot. But that's the biggest draw with regards to using the MX Master 3 is how it actually lays down like that. My hand is actually kind of resting already on here, but compare that to the Apple mouse. I'm actually resting on the desktop itself. That's where I'm resting my wrist, if you can see that. This is where my wrist is, this is where I'm cupping it, and this is where my movement is. Now, if I were to do that with this mouse, I'm actually resting on the mouse. Now, it may seem like a very arbitrary difference, but when it comes to actual usage, you will actually see a huge difference. I did, and I really welcome it. Now, what about the different functions, right? Now, Apple put in a lot of thought into, and this was like 7 years ago, right? And the usage of the mouse in terms of its scrolling capabilities, in terms of everything else that we do, is actually very smooth. That's because there's a very tight integration between Apple's hardware and software. Logitech can do it too now. And in some cases, they kind of like went above board. One of the things that is especially nice is the scroll wheel, this time with the MX Master 3. It has something called like perpetual scrolling. So if I'm going through a huge website with really long and stuff like that, I just have to scroll down like that, and the wheel, it just keeps turning forever until the end of the web page, which is great for me because sometimes I work with a huge data sets, and it just gets tiring to scroll through. This is, you don't use it all the time, but when you do use it, you love the fact that you don't have to flick your finger all the time just to get to the bottom of the page. I do that on almost a daily basis, and I really like the difference. Now, I won't go too much into the I/O because there's a lot of people covering that. And the main point of using the MX Master 3 with Apple's computers is that you don't necessarily see it happen all the time. But if you're looking for a mouse to replace that particular experience on Apple, you would be sorely mistaken if the MX Master 3 was not your was not your cup of tea, because it fits the profile beautifully. The Apple Magic Mouse requires that you have all your actions on this surface, right? So your thumb and your finger is doing this. Most of the work is being done by your index and your middle finger. Now, MX Master 3 has so many buttons, sometimes you just run out of usage for it. You cup it like so. Now you see this piece? That's a button. There are two buttons here that you can program. There's another track wheel here. There are actually two physical different keys here, and here. I kind of missed this for a very long time, and it took me a while to get used to it. But I'm fairly taken with it. So much so that it is actually a very wonderful device to use on a day-to-day basis. It's now my main driver, because I can get to rest my hand like so. And look at that, it actually fits so neatly. It speaks to the care that Logitech team took into actually designing this device. This is the successor to the MX Master 2, which was already a great device, but they took it further, specifically with this particular wheel, right? I really am in love with it. But the one thing that is actually taking it further than anything else I've ever seen taken from Apple, you do have software patches for this, but you can program different actions within your mouse, not just the stock items that appear on your preferences pane. But the Logitech comes with the software that allows you to program any of these buttons in any number of ways that you want to do it. That is a huge deal. I really like the ability for it to be able to choose which item and how you want to play around with it, because not everybody is going to follow the same sequence, and different workflows call for different buttons. And the MX Master 3 and the Logitech software allows you to do that in a myriad of ways. You open up the software, you choose the software that they can work with, and then you program however it is you want to work with your workflow. So for a lot of creative types, this is definitely going to be a boon for you. The other thing that I was trying to work out was the flow, and that's moving from one computer to the next computer using the same device. It works great, but the only thing is I don't see myself using that all the time. I have to say that just based on the form factor alone, you want to use the MX Master 3 when compared to the Apple Magic Mouse. I can't look at the difference at the profile. It sits so nice that I am convinced that Apple is no longer the only company out there that actually has all the answers for everything. When it comes to input devices, Logitech is definitely killing it. I'm actually looking forward to seeing whether the MX Keys keyboard works just as intuitively as this, because I've switched. I'm a Logitech user. I can't say so much things anymore. There's one more thing to note, right? This device is enough for you to handle 3 different computers. So if you've got a laptop, if you've got a iPad, right, and you work between all these different devices, the MX3 can do all of it, which is amazing, right? I used to have a laptop, and when I wanted to use a laptop and I have to switch back to the iMac, I have to use the whole different keyboard and mouse, and then when I wanted to use the laptop, I had to reconfigure my brain on how to actually do that. I didn't have to when I had the MX Master. It really solved that solution. I'm really hoping the MX keyboard actually does this, and I can't wait to try it out and let you guys know. My review, this mouse is the one to go for. I've heard some stuff about razors, stuff like that, but Holding the MX Master 3 makes me really enjoy a different mouse experience than just the one that Apple gives, and I recommend it. I really do. It's lasted quite a long time. Battery life, I haven't charged it for a while now, but input devices really, you typically go 2-3 weeks without charging anyways, and it's done through this USB-C port that is right at the front. And yeah, I'm really loving the experience. There's even a smoothness. There's a smoothness to it actually moving, as opposed to with the Apple mouse. I can't explain it to you, but when you use it, you will know what I'm talking about in terms of the smoothness of the mouse on your surfaces. Did I tell you that this mouse actually even works on glass? So for those of you who really have nice setups on your desks, this works really great on glass. I've tried it out. It's awesome. But glass doesn't work so well with the Apple Magic Mouse. That alone should actually tell you of the effort, right? And this mouse is the one to go for creative types, especially if you're working long hours at the computer. That's my review for the MX Master 3. Thank you.